Poultry industry, I think, is about 1.1 crores in the country. We used to have an old number. We have not done any research on that, but I think it should be at least that much. So for every per capita egg, there are about 25,000 jobs. So if you're saying 67 eggs into 25,000, you can calculate. Same with chicken also. So there are millions of people who are employed and livelihood is given to them. This industry does that. And you need to understand most of these are in villages. Almost, when I say most, it's I think close to 80-85% of the jobs are in villages. So the poultry industry is actually very important for rural economy. So that's the other part we are very proud of and how we have contributed to that. As I said, we are number 3 in the world today. I think in next 2 to 3 years we should beat US. Will become number 2. The gap between us and China is too big. It's humongous. As I said, they're eating 280 eggs per capita. Today we are at 67, 68. So that's a big number to cross, and we might cross China in next 10 to 15 years, but I think it's unrealistic for us to think it will. We definitely think the Indian poultry industry, in my estimation, should be about 8 times the size it is today in 2040. I think it should be close to 8 lakh crores, and that's going to happen. Right, maybe a few years this way, that way, but if not 2040, maybe 2045, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's in 2035 or 2030, because that's how it has happened everywhere. As the per capita consumption increases, the consumption of animal protein also increases. And in India, because there's no other competition, I mean there's very little competition for eggs, for poultry, and I think for eggs it will be even less, because I expect I think almost most vegetarians to become I mean at least consume eggs. So even if people say the parents might have resistance today, I think they'll get the children to eat it, and so that way, if you see, I think there's tremendous potential going forward. I mean that's how I see it. Fish is the only competition, but I don't see fish being produced in such huge volumes, because fish and shrimp cannot, I think pricing, they can't match these two. Lamb and sheep, goat also, I don't see that happening much. They will have, I think all put together probably they'll have 20% and 80% will be chicken and eggs. I think there's no doubt. I think see, also you have to understand, if you want 1 kilo of beef, and that's not talking of our Indian standards, also global standards is of 7.5 kilos of feed. 1 kilo of pork is about 4 kilos of feed. 1 kilo of chicken is now almost about 1.5 kilo of feed. 1 kilo of eggs is about 1.8 kilo of feed. The difference is, of course, the chicken for broiler feed is almost 50% costlier than the egg feed. So although it's eating 300 grams more, the cost of that is half the price. So there's really only thing, as I said, is that can compete with the chicken and egg is fish. Where the FCR is again closer to that 1.2, 1.3. So even if we get organized, it's more complicated. It's more tougher to handle it, and oceans are anyway drying up. Oceans, it's a problem now. We are overfishing seas and oceans. Farms have to start, but they are very susceptible to diseases. They're not so easy as chickens are. And but even if they, I think I'm guessing they'll probably get about 10% market share.